Welcome to the Nasty Labs podcast, legally the best podcast. We're part of the HyperX Podcast Network, and we're a podcast from Game Studio Chuhai Labs where we talk about games, game dev, Japan, and whatever else comes up. As always, we're your hosts, Kinsey and Mark, so open yourself a Chuhai, and let's go!
Let us go. Kinsey Burke, great intro.
Nailed it!
You know why the intro was so good? It's because we've got such a great guest today.
It is our now annual. This is an annual thing now because it has happened twice.
Two.
Now it's a tradition.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's our Thanksgiving episode with Ian Ferguson. Ian, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, celebrating the best holiday.
Hell, it is the best holiday. Last time.
I mean, it's not, but it's close.
Okay. All right, hold on. We gotta put this to bed real quick. Halloween's not a holiday. That's a day when you wear.
Halloween is a lifestyle.
All right.
Yes. I mean, I'll give you that. I mean,
Yeah.
most of the stuff in our house is Halloween themed. Bonnie is a big Halloween fan, so year round we have a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin trash can in the bathroom.
Perfect.
And a black cat hand towel, and all of our pot holders are ghost or bat themed.
Yes.
So yeah, you're right. So Thanksgiving is a holiday. Halloween is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the most diplomatic way to settle this.
Thank you, Ian Ferguson, our guest today. Wow, this is already a great show. This is God. So yeah, you were on last year. We talked about food. We talked about doing drugs while working at restaurants. We talked about, we did, which is very important on Thanksgiving. It's what you do.
If you're going to have to work on Thanksgiving.
You're going to do drugs, probably. Probably.
Yep, you're gonna.
Yeah, you're
in the freezer.
Absolutely.
In the freezer.
Absolutely in the freezer.
But no,
The cold makes all the sense go away. That's how it
that
works
space
in
is
science.
reserved for my mental breakdowns.
Well, sure. I mean, they go hand in hand.
That's
really.
fair.
The drugs and the mental breakdowns.
So a little bit about Ian Ferguson for everyone who they already know who you are. But, you're the co-host of the CU podcast. You're on Extra Napkins. You used to work over at Luna, the premier game shop in San Diego.
San Diego.
And
Two locations. I still love them dearly. I hang out with Treg all the time. I saw some concerts with him in LA recently. So yeah, support Luna Video Games if you live in San Diego or if you visit.
Yeah.
And not only that, you're like the coolest person.
Yeah, coolest person. There's probably a song about that too. Right before we started recording, we were talking about songs about good days.
Uh-huh.
So
Such as
the one by Lou Reed.
Uh-huh.
Is it
Thank you.
Perfect Day? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, thanks, Kinsey.
An Ice Cube.
An Ice Cube.
Today's gonna be a good day.
Oh, look at dude.
Oh wow, that was almost so close.
I think viewers put down what you're picking up what you're putting down. It's good. It's good, Kinsey. But this is gonna be a hell of a show, I think.
Man,
I hope.
excited.
So should we just hop right the hell into this or what, Kinsey Burke? Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I was taking a sip of my Red Bull.
Okay.
Go to redbull.com/Chuhai Labs for 69% off something.
Yeah.
Enter code Kinsey Burke.
Yeah. So, you can slide into her DMs right now. Just get all the savings you need.
Only if it's about Red Bull.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, I don't guarantee that coupon code works.
Great. So, and not only,
No, it doesn't.
God damn. Not only that, Ian, what else are you in video games? Tell us more about you. Come on.
Oh.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, fuck it. You're a Pistons fan, like a diehard Pistons fan.
Diehard Pistons fan. They're playing right now, and I wish them the best of luck.
Uh-huh.
They won. They won last night. They scored their fourth victory of the year. Fourth. They have lost 13 games.
Is that basketball?
And you better believe I celebrated it like we had just won the NBA Finals. It was it's a big moment.
Good.
It's a lot of fun when you root for a shitty sports team because you get to celebrate all these little things like they're big things.
What? So you're from Buffalo. What? Why the Pistons?
So when I was in high school, a lot of my friends were into sports, and to try to get into sports, I started picking very bad sports teams.
Okay.
Nice.
To kind of like get behind.
Right.
So I picked the Eagles because at that point in time, everyone in Buffalo was just like done with the Bills. They were like, this has been an abusive relationship. We need time. We need space. So I picked the Eagles. And when it came to hockey, I picked the Maple Leafs because I also love Toronto. I do like Philadelphia as well.
Okay.
And I like birds. So that was another reason for the Eagles. For Toronto, the Maple Leafs, I actually really like Toronto, but they're bad, so that was good too.
Nice.
And then Detroit, I picked Detroit because I like Detroit Techno, and they were also very bad at the time. So
All right.
that's how I ended up picking the teams that I followed.
All right.
And the Cleveland Indians were the other team, but that was because their farm team was in Buffalo. Anyway, so yeah, that's how I picked the Detroit Pistons.
Nice.
I just went for bad teams because if they were bad, I didn't have to worry about getting super emotionally invested in them.
Sure.
Because you just assume they were always going to lose.
Look what
The
happened.
problem is bad teams eventually get better.
Right.
And then you get all that stress of sports anyways. And that's what turned me into a sports fan. Was that. And I was like, whoops, I thought I dodged a bullet, but I didn't.
Have you ever like gambled way too much money on a game?
No.
Oh.
I don't like gambling.
Oh.
Me neither.
I don't either, but like it sounds like it'd be fun to like to be like to put 10 bills on something, like I'm going in 5 large on this. Like
It just sounds cool.
So
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Put it all on black.
Yeah.
It's just a fun thing to say.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
you don't have to want to do it. It's just it's a saying. No, like I have no moral problems with gambling. It's just I don't like to do it. When I lose, I'm like, oh, I could have bought a lot of like tacos with that money.
Right?
That
That's
was
my
dumb
taco
of me.
money.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like none of us gamble. It just seems like the next step of like
Love and sports.
becoming a degenerate gambler. So, like it's kind of one more thing that's kind of cool.
Or getting really
I can
into
see
fantasy.
myself getting into like prop bets, like the little tiny bets. Like, is this guy gonna hit a one-handed dunk tonight? And I'm gonna be like, yeah, fuck yeah, he's gonna hit a one-handed dunk tonight. Like that's stupid sort of gambling I could get into, but not like the hardcore read the odds over under stuff.
Well, I look forward to when you actually do get into that, regardless, because it is inevitable. It's like, especially like if you go to sportsdsi.com/
Might be. Well, when I went to Vegas for my 39th birthday. My friends took me and Vonnie, and the only gambling that I enjoyed was fake horse racing.
Oh.
What?
Fake
that-
horse
There's a
racing.
little table.
Yeah.
All right.
So sports gambling might also scratch that itch. No, there was a table. Konami makes it. It's called Fortune Cup Deluxe, and it's a real physical racetrack with robotic horses that actually race, and you bet on
so
the
cool.
robot horses.
Oh my god. So okay, so I have seen that. There's an arcade next to my house, and I see that all the time. I didn't know it was gambling. It definitely looked really nerdy. It looks
Yeah, it is.
like electronic horses. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Pretty sweet.
Fucking all right. That's cool. All right. Kinsey, what the hell is going to happen in today's show?
And speaking of gambling,
Yeah.
you're about to take a gamble on this great episode we have coming up. As always, we're going to start with What Up, where we talk about what we're playing. Then we're going to slide right into the main topic. It may or may not have to do with Thanksgiving. It probably does. Then onto the news, and then we'll answer your questions from Discord. So stay tuned. And now it's time for What Up, where we talk about what we're playing. And that rule I made 40 episodes ago, that guests go first. Ian, what are you playing?
Ian, what are you playing?
All right. So, I've intended to play a few things. Sonic Frontiers. I played half an hour, 45 minutes of that. And I think it's going to be really good. Honestly,
Yeah?
for me, I think it'll scratch the itches. It seems like it's going to be fun. A lot of people whose opinions I trust have been like, yeah, it's pretty fun. I'm not expecting a perfect game. It
Right.
can be buggy and all that, but I think it'll be good. And I've intended to play the new Pokemon. Again, I started that. I created my character, and I haven't gone very far. I've heard it's, buggy and not great looking, but as long as it's fun, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the that sort of thing, the bugginess and the poor graphics opens up a kind of a different conversation about crunch and development time limits, I think.
Right.
But as much as I've wanted to play those, I've been playing the Atari 50th Celebration Collection, and that's pretty much all I've been playing.
I love that.
Hell yeah.
It's so good, and so there's been some sad stuff going on with my family that we've been dealing with, and I think I can't really focus on anything too in depth, but it was really easy to just throw on the Atari 50th collection and go a couple steps forward in one of the timelines.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of turn it on, lose track of yourself for a little bit, learn some stuff, and then turn it off. And now that I've gone through all the timelines, I've gone back and started playing some more of the games. And while I like in-depth games, it's just been more convenient and fun lately to turn on the Atari 50th and play like Neo Breakout or Vector Sector.
Yeah.
Or I mentioned it on the CU podcast earlier this week. I actually have really taken a shine to 2600 Centipede. I think it's kind of fun.
Hell yeah. Okay, so why don't we rewind for a second for people that don't know what the Atari 50 is? Because I'll be honest, I'm also playing it, but I didn't know shit about it until I bought it. And then as soon as
nice.
and as soon as I bought
That's
it,
a real nice surprise.
What?
You had no
I didn't
no expectations, and you're like, what is this?
Yeah, I mean,
That's great.
okay, so I did know it was Digital Eclipse. The people that did the Turtles collection, they did the Capcom collection. Is that right? Or Disney?
They did SNK They did the SNK collection. They did the Street Fighter 30th collection, and then they did Turtles and Atari. And I think I'm missing one in there, but I can't recall which one.
I thought they did the. Did they do the
Disney one?
Did they do the Virgin Disney collection?
Oh, they did Disney. Yeah, they did do the Disney. They did the Virgin Disney one, but they also did the Disney Afternoon one.
Oh, okay. So so I knew it was them. So and I previously had the Turtles collection, and I knew it was going to be awesome. But this is a whole different ball game. This is not just here's 50 games or however many games it is. It's way more than that. Like, tell us about the timelines, because I honestly didn't know the timelines were part of this thing. Tell us about that shit.
I didn't either.
So, the timelines are my favorite part. So when you fire it up, it's like game library, and then there's like 5 timelines. And when you click the timeline, it takes you through like a digital museum exhibit. So there's one for Dawn of Arcade. There's one for the Atari Arcade's presence, Dawn of the Console, home PCs, missteps, and then the 90s and beyond. And basically it gives you a timeline that goes across and a little icon. And as you go across, some of the topics can be gone into more in depth. So you go down a couple of things. And the timelines are made up of all sorts of things. It's not just like text. It's text, pictures, scans of brochures, games that you can play right off the timeline. So like it's not to use a term from the 90s, but it's a true multimedia experience.
I mean, it is though. It is.
So like everything. I mean, it's interviews, it's articles, it's, like I said, the games you can play right off the timeline. So it wraps everything up in this context that gives you a better idea. I don't think without the context I ever would have given much time to 2600 Centipede. I wouldn't have played the sports games without the ability to kind of quickly compare them between versions and understand, why they were released at the time they were in response to Intellivision. So yeah, they're fantastic.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So Kinsey, like right off the bat, I think the very first video, because there's videos in the timelines as well, and some like their interviews or their commercials or like their interviews now, and some are interviews back in the day. I think the very first one, and maybe Ian can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the very first one is a guy telling a story of how he found 5 computer space arcade games.
Yeah, it is.
So it's this really weird way of starting the whole thing, because it would have been really easy for them to just have an interview with Nolan Bushnell from 1973 about him starting the company. But instead, they put us now, and they say, this guy just found 5 unearthed arcade games that are worth, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's an interesting way to, right off the bat, establish the importance of the company.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that was what I was looking for. I couldn't get that across, but what a weird way to do that. What a not weird, but what a respectful way.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really it's fantastic, and it came out at I think $40. And I think it was like $50 if you wanted the version with the slipcase and the poster.
Got it.
And within a week, there were already places that were selling it on sale for $30. I don't like to sound like an advertisement, but if you're at all interested in video game history, pick that damn thing up while it's on sale. It's so good.
So I don't know if this is going to sound like I'm detracting, but I don't know if this is for everyone. I think this is for
You're right.
For you and me, and maybe it's for Kinsey. I don't know, but something about it it's not necessarily fun. They didn't necessarily pick the best games, but they yeah.
But when you look at it, I think you can find. I mean, for the price that it's at, I can easily go in there and right now tell you these games right here make it worth the price of admission. Right? I think if you go in and you look at it and you're like, wow, over 100 games, and you expect to like the majority of them, you're going to be upset.
Yeah.
No.
But all of the new Digital Eclipse developed games. I don't love the Haunted House one, but Breakout, Vector Sector, the remastered version of Yar's Revenge, those are all Quadratank. Those are all really high quality games. And then you consider some of the fact that you've got Jaguar games on there for the first time, including Tempest 2000.
Oh, nice.
And then you have all of the, all the perfect arcade versions. And if you're on the PC, you can actually use spinners and stuff for those games, so they play properly. I think there's enough there to justify the price that you have fun with. But yeah, you just can't go into it expecting it's going to be one of those it's not a greatest hits compilation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bullshit in there because they need to talk about arcade ports and they need to talk about how the market got flooded with bad games, and there's some bad games for you to play there, and it's just it's like I said, it's more of a museum exhibit than anything, but it's still fun, just not in what you might think from a video game.
Yeah, it's not accessible. I wouldn't hand my Switch to a 12-year-old and expect them and expect them to be like, this is awesome, I think Vector Sector, like you mentioned that there are what are we calling these, spiritual sequels, or
Vector Sector is kind of like a greatest hits, we love these games because it's basically a stage of asteroids, followed by Lunar Lander, followed by something that's resembling Battletank, Battlezone, and then Tempest. I think the only new game really is, none of them. They all pull pretty heavily. Quadratank is just combat, but with Bomberman style power-ups and stuff like that. Homages, I guess, maybe.
Is there any standout game of the new titles?
I think Vector Sector is the one that most people are gonna pick, but I love ball and paddle games, so Neo Breakout has really been the one that I've been enjoying.
Me too. Neo Breakout's been my title. Vector Sector is a little too hard for me. I'm not good at Lunar Lander, so.
I love Lunar Lander. I'm not great at Vector Sector either. My big problem is that third stage, the Battlezone kind of one. I'm colorblind, and it's nearly impossible to see those missiles.
Oh.
So I lose most of my lives there.
Oh, sure.
But I could understand how that one would be a lot of people's favorites.
It looks the best. I think it looks of all of them.
Sure.
Yeah. What about like titles? Was there any surprise title in there that like one you hadn't played or you thought was like such an odd choice, but like a good, interesting choice?
Tempest 2000.
Sure.
I had never really done any time with that game. And playing that and understanding, again, with context, kind of what he was making that system do to get it to look that way. I mean, I love that.
Sure.
That's almost worth that's $10 of the price of admission to me right there.
Yeah.
Like I would have. It's so good. It's fantastic.
I love Tempest.
I mean, it plays really well without the spinner too.
Oh,
and
cool.
that surprised me. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm gonna agree on the Tempest because I always knew that like everyone, all these game nerds had said like this game is phenomenal, and I just never had a chance because not everybody owns a Jaguar, and yeah, it is. It's fucking fantastic.
They were not lying.
Yeah, they weren't. Yeah, it turns out, because you never know. Because like a lot of people say, like this is a hidden gem, and they're wrong. No, this is not. I'm also really into the early 3D titles. I think they're all like they're not necessarily fun, but it is really interesting to see how far 3D went in the early 80s on arcade.
When you say 3D, you're talking like Battlezone?
iRobot.
iRobot was the title specifically. Yeah,
iRobot is that's actually it's nice. It's good that you brought it up because that's actually one of the ones that surprised me. I have never emulated or played iRobot before, and I was like, I wonder if, and sure enough, there it was on the timeline, and I was like, I sunk some time into it, and it's not a great game, but it's really fun to play just because it's so unique for the time.
I've never played anything like iRobot. If you haven't played it, you should play it after this. It's just weird and quirky, and I can see why it's not a massive hit, of course, but it is something that like it probably inspired like people like our boss Giles. It's unique.
Yeah. That sounds
And it
awesome.
has an art mode too. It has a completely non-competitive, no death. You just pay for I think it's like a time limit art mode where you can take the various shapes and place them on the screen. And I mean, imagine how cool that must have been to a certain type of drunk person at a bar in the early 80s. Like everyone's playing these hardcore competitive arcade games and you're like, this is too stressful for me. And then you walk up to one that's like, hey, just fuck around with 3D shapes.
Yeah,
that sounds great.
And honestly, I didn't know that. I'm gonna go check that out now. After that, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a totally free form make art mode.
That's so cool.
We can't even imagine. Like I can't even imagine what that would have been like because there wouldn't have been like these people wouldn't have owned PCs and there wouldn't have been apps out there like to make art. Like it would have been if you think about it, like how bizarre shit. Well, what are there any other standouts that you have to talk about?
Scrapyard Dog for the Lynx is a lot of fun.
That's a really good name.
What a weird game.
Yes, and I had always heard of it, and people always talked about how the Lynx version was, I always knew it as a Lynx game, and it's just a basic platformer. But as you go through the timelines, you hit the 7800 version first. And I played it. I'm like, this is awful.
Right.
I don't like this game at all.
Yeah.
It's bad. And then you get to the and I'm thinking of the Lynx version. I'm like, people always said this was good. And then you get to the Lynx version, and they're like, this version, which most people greatly prefer, is an entirely different game.
Right.
And yeah, it is. I was also really happy to see Food Fight on there. It's not the first time anyone's ever seen Food Fight on a collection, but that's one of my all-time favorite Atari games, like that and Centipede. So it's just nice to have a good version. And the thing is Food Fight actually uses an analog joystick in the arcades.
Wow.
So it actually feels pretty good to play it on a modern controller.
Oh, okay. I'm not good at Food Fight. I think it's very hard. Yeah, I like it.
I mean, it's yeah, it is. It is, but you can learn some strategies pretty quickly that make it a little easier. But yeah, it can be difficult to start.
Yeah. For me, Missile Command on the Atari 2600 is that was my first time playing that, and I gotta say, pretty fucking fun.
It's really fun.
Yeah. Like I think Missile Command is like one of the all-time great arcade games.
Yeah.
So I just assumed the Atari 2600 would suck. No, it is so good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really simplified, but like it works. It's just it's like it's really pick up and play like good times.
Yeah. Well, shit. Atari 50. That's a big one. I think this is a good segue into Kinsey Burke. What are you playing?
I am not playing Atari 50, which it sounds like I should be.
Boo.
Because that sounds amazing, and I do like the whole like timeline museum aspect of it. So I should really try that out. I really need to get it.
Yes.
But what I'm playing,
It's the main appeal, I think.
yeah, is Pokemon. I have sunk a lot of time into Pokemon. I'm not sure how many hours I'm at so far, but probably like 25
Okay.
if I had to guess.
Ooh.
Maybe. And so I'm playing Pokemon Scarlet. So because it came out as Pokemon Violet and Scarlet this time around.
Are they different?
Yeah. Well, nah, kind of. They're different as in like how most Pokemon games are different, like Diamond and Pearl and stuff. Because like you have a different, I guess it's a legendary. I guess it's Koraidon / Miradon, if that is their names.
Are they all dinosaurs?
It's different legendaries, and I think
Yeah, are they legendaries? I guess they
either
are.
a different
Yeah.
rival or a different professor between the two of them.
Yeah, I think it's a different professor, and yeah, the legendaries. But I am really liking it so far. Graphical stuff aside, though, because like it's janky in ways. Like some characters are missing animations, and it's like real weird. But that doesn't really detract from playing so much. I have had it crash a few times, and that is upsetting. But beyond that, I've been having a really, really good time playing it. The one thing though that I am not loving, and I was really surprised that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it, which means maybe it's a me problem. But so it's an open world game. It's one of the first truly open world Pokemon games besides Arceus, and
Right.
you can do things in any order, they say. And basically you have 3 kind of main goals. Once you're like out in the open world, you can do gyms like in every Pokemon game. You can go after Titans, which are just like big, powerful Pokemon. And you can go after Team Star bases, which is that like rival bad kids club that every
shit.
Pokemon game has, you know? And like
I love a good bad kids.
Bad
club.
Kids Club. Where they're all wearing sunglasses and like ties that are like too loose. And
Hell
some
yeah.
Smoking
studs.
menthols.
Yeah,
there
it's
we
those,
go.
those
There
kids.
we-
Yeah.
Menthols, dude.
But like,
Newports.
so you can do whatever you want. So I decided to do the Titans is what I really wanted to focus on, because that's the only way to level up your like motorcycle legendary Pokemon. Because like that's how you like get their like dash or to like fly or to climb walls. Like that's how you can. Because my thing in open world games is more exploration, and leveling up
Sure.
Koraidon. God, I hope that's his name. Is is like the way to explore better. You know. And be able to explore more easily. So I was like, cool, I'm going to do this route. This sounds like fun. And I did gyms and Team Starbases, like, if they were in the area. I also did those. But, so, in Pokemon games, when you beat a Pokemon gym, that's when it's like, now Pokemon up to level 20 will listen to you. You know?
Right.
Like, it always does that. But now, I'm at the problem where I focus so much on the Titans that now all my Pokemon are in the 40s level-wise, but
And they're jerks.
and I can only train up to like level 30, and all of my Pokemon are jerks. Like none of them listen to me. It's basically impossible to catch things when I one-hit kill them because they're too low a level. Or if I go to an area that I'm not really supposed to be in yet, I've done that a few times too, because that's at least kind of fun. At least I can fight things.
Yeah.
But then they're almost impossible to catch because they're over-leveled. And I'm in this horrible catch-22, and I really wish that they brought back from Arceus where you could just throw a Pokeball at a Pokemon and try to catch it. Because that's the only way I'd be able to catch lower level things right now. Because I one-hit kill absolutely everything that's lower level.
Right, now you got to get a Pokemon with, I can't even remember the name of the move, but there's that one move that is like, leaves them with 1 hit point every time.
Yeah, it's like a fighting move or something. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I do need to find that. That would be the one loophole. But yeah, and several times now I've been trying to do a battle and my Pokemon just won't do what I want it to because I'm not a high enough level myself. And it's like really frustrating because then I'm like, well, I can't do things in whatever order I want. There is a set order, you know?
You can, but yeah, you need to kind of keep up otherwise, right? But I honestly find that most open world games are like that.
Yeah.
And that's honestly why I'm kind of... It's not the graphic stuff that is the concern for me. It's I generally don't like open world games. There's a lot of false do whatever you want to do in open world games.
Yeah.
Sounds like this has that too.
Yeah.
So that might be what kind of... You can do everything in whatever order you want, but you still need to do like a little bit of A, B, and C.
Right.
Yeah.
You can just pick whether you want to do A or C or B or whatever first. But you still got to do all of them in kind of this... cascading ladder.
You can do it however you want, but you have to pay the consequences of your choices.
Right.
Yeah.
But because I do like in open world games where I'm in an area I'm not supposed to be in yet, and I can kind of tell because everything's really powerful. Like, I do like that I'm able to do that. But it does, I don't know if I'm just like in the wrong areas, but it really feels like it's either too high a level or not high enough. Like I don't know where I'm supposed to be right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I one-shot like almost everything.
So that seems like a pretty big complaint. I mean, is it?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still having a great time. Like, I'm 25 hours in and still playing it. So I'm obviously having some kind of fun, you know?
Right.
But I don't know. It just feels like it's open world-ish. Like maybe the Pokemon formula wasn't ready to go completely open world. I'm not sure.
Sure.
But I don't know. I am having fun though, and I like Koraidon because he's the motorcycle Pokemon with the legs, and like he runs like an iguana with his like wide stepping legs, and it's really stupid, and I love it. And his wheels don't turn on his motorcycle. I'm like, bro, why you have wheels? And I love it.
I wanted to go violet because I like purple is one of my favorite colors, and I like the way the violet one looks.
Yeah,
but the Scarlet Legendary has a really cool haircut.
Yeah, it looks like a chicken.
And the exclusive Professor was cute. So I think that's why I ended up going with Scarlet.
That's why I went with Scarlet.
Yeah,
and like
okay.
Orange is one of my favorite colors. But yeah, the Professor is hot. So I was like, I'm on Team Professor Sada, thank you.
Yeah. Wait. You picked it because he's a hot piece of ass? That's the reason you...
She.
Yeah.
She.
Oh, my bad. So, pardon my ignorance here. Ian, I don't know Pokemon. Can you trade Pokemon?
Yeah.
Okay. So, could you guys trade? How does trading work?
Yeah. And apparently the co-op is really good. I haven't tried it yet. But
it's supposed to be great.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good. And this is, I guess, the first Pokemon with like true co-op where like I could invite Ian to join me on my island or whatever in my world, and we could all like run around and fight and catch Pokemon together. And it does look really cool. And you can trade Pokemon.
Got it.
Kind of that
like
same way.
Traditional. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can do it. You can do mystery trades where you just throw a Pokemon into the ether and let someone else grab it and they do something in return. Those are always fun.
Yeah,
Back
I did
to
that.
gambling.
Yeah, hell yeah. There we go.
And I feel bad because then I'm sure there's some algorithm where if I give them a shit Pokemon, I'm probably going to get a shit Pokemon back. But
I bet, yeah.
I did that a lot when I first started playing. I'm like, see ya, shit Pokemon. Who am I getting?
Right.
And it's a good way to like randomly like gamble on filling out your Pokedex. Like I think 2 times now I've gotten a Pokemon I hadn't seen before. Also, there's a lot of new Pokemon. either there's a lot of new Pokemon, or I have a very big hole in my Pokemon knowledge. Because almost, I feel like every other Pokemon, I'm like, who the hell are you?
Well,
Did you play the last gen?
I played Sword and Shield. And Arceus I don't think added much, but
No.
I do have a gap in my Pokemon knowledge, but at least when I was playing Arceus and Sword and Shield, I saw a lot of these Pokemon.
Sure.
But I think I know it's partially me having a gap, but I think there's a lot of new Pokemon.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have a gap too, but that's good to know. There was a lot of new ones in Sword and Shield too, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot of new ones in this. I actually really liked Sword and Shield's new Pokemon,
Yeah.
especially Yamper,
Oh,
like the little-
Yamper was so
the little
cute.
electric corgi.
Electric corgi Pokemon.
Okay, question for an ignorant piece of shit. How many Pokemon are there?
I don't even
They
know.
just reached 1,000, I think.
1,000.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense because there was like 860 something, I think, when Sword and Shield came out.
Yeah, I think they just hit their 1,000th Pokemon.
Holy shit. That's a lot
So
of
there's
Pokemon,
definitely
dude.
some gaps in my Pokemon knowledge.
Okay. So all right.
Sure. I can't think of 1,000 Pokemon.
Okay, all right. Did you both play Gen 1?
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
did.
Did you both play Gen 2? I don't know what those
Yeah.
are. What are those called? Those
Yes.
those are like Ruby and
Sapphire.
Gold and Silver.
Oh,
Gold
Gold
and
and Silver, and then Ruby and Sapphire.
Okay.
I did not play Ruby and Sapphire when they came out.
Those are remakes? Ruby and Sapphire? I don't
No.
know.
No.
Okay.
Fire Red and Leaf Green are remakes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So now we're in GBA. Now let's move on to is it Nintendo DS?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
I've played every one since.
is that black?
The only
black
one
and
I
white?
didn't play when it came out was Gen 3.
Is that
The only one
XY?
That's Ruby and
Got
Sapphire.
it.
I didn't play any DS or 3DS, I don't think.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it's a pretty big gap.
That's
but,
like 4 games.
Yeah, that is a big.
But
gap.
I feel
Okay.
like just like knowing about Pokemon and being in the Pokemon scene, like
Sure.
it kind
You
of
see
filled
'em
those
all.
gaps. So I've seen a lot of the Pokemon. It's just when I see
Yeah.
one that I'm like, who are you? You know? I have no idea.
Okay, so there's
Well, Vani plays a lot of Pokemon Go, so there
yeah.
are definitely times where she's like showing me something, and it doesn't happen a lot, but there have been a few times where I'm like, "What the fuck is?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "That's James Amon."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've
Yeah.
never seen James Amon. I've never seen Tony Amon.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't know who any of these people are.
Yeah. And I played Pokemon Go, and when I was playing that when it first came out, I ran into that as well. But then after a while, I was like, okay, I know these Pokemon now. Like, there just wasn't ones I hadn't seen before at a certain point. But I feel like it happens all the time in this one. So I'm like, bro, how many new Pokemon are there?
They're probably new.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, they've really been. Sword and Shield added a ton of new ones.
Yeah.
So
I like the new Wiglet. It's like
Oh, yeah.
the Noodle Diglett. Also, I thought that was like, wait, what's the place called? Paldea? Like Paldean, like Diglett? But it's not. It's just a new Pokemon. I had no idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was like a regional version too.
That's what I
But,
thought.
okay. Well, nice.
Man.
nice.
That's great.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask a really stupid question
Also,
to
I like
both of you again.
I like Bread Dog.
Bread Dog.
Yeah, Fido.
Bread Dog. I like.
That reminds me of the Plank Road Brewery.
I was thinking Red Dog, that old malt liquor from.
Yeah, the beer.
Yeah.
Yep. Plank Road Brewery in Michigan.
Oh.
Or
interesting.
Mad Dog.
Not Mad Dog
Mad
2020.
Dog is
Mad Dog
the
2020.
fortified wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wine.
wine. Yeah.
It's like literally the most unclassy wine I could ever think of because it comes in like
There's a key-
comes in like blue raspberry. Like
Oh no, that's bling bling raspberry.
Bling bling blue raspberry. Yes. And there's a key lime pie version, and I've had it before, and I swear to God, they made it so that you can taste the crust, and it's the weirdest fucking thing. Yeah. I don't know how you get crust flavor from pie into a wine.
Don't use the word wine, please, for the love of God. Wine, get the fuck out. Any of those fortified wines, Thunderbird,
Grape liquor.
yeah.
yeah.
Oh God damn. Wild Irish Rose is another good one.
Ooh.
Yeah. So my question was, it's for you, Kinsey, specifically, but
Okay.
let's see if Ian, he hasn't played Pokemon yet. So, Are you going to finish it?
I think so. Think so? Yeah. At least the mainline stuff, I probably will.
Do you think you're a notorious do everythinger game player? Did you foresee yourself 100%ing this?
I don't know about 100%ing, but I think I will finish like the gyms, the Titan. Well, I already finished the Titans and the Team Star bases.
Okay. Crazy.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part of the game too, right? The Titans?
Maybe. I mean, they're like the big, strong Pokemon. The last one was a doozy, though. I almost didn't make it.
A real doozy.
So you'll probably finish it.
I'll probably finish
if you had to put a percentage on that, what'll be sitting at? 80%.
I guess it depends on if something else comes out that I really want to play. Which Sports Story is coming out soon, so maybe if I don't finish it by then, I might not ever finish it. But
well, Sports Story is only going to take about 10, 20 hours.
Yeah, I'm not good at coming back though. That.
Oh yeah. That's a good point. Especially collecting.
I have that
games.
problem too.
Yeah,
these kinds of games. Yeah, there's no way to come
There's
back.
probably a good 70%.
70%. And what's the Ian? What's the likelihood you start playing?
The likelihood I start playing, there's a 95% chance that I will actually start playing it, but probably only a 50% chance that I'll finish it if it plays out like a more traditional open world game.
Right.
There's so many open world games that I play, and I'm like, this is going to be the one I like, and it's never ever really happened. So I'll definitely play it, and I'll be happy with what I play of it, but I don't think I'll finish it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I feel satiated in those answers. Thank you.
Good. And now it's time for our weekly topic. And this time, of course, we're all about Thanksgiving again. But this time, we're going to be all about the drinks. Because on our Thanksgiving episode last year, we were also joined by Ian. We talked mostly about Thanksgiving food. If you want to hear all of our opinions about Thanksgiving food, go check that episode out. But this time, it's drink time.
Yeah. Okay. So, when she came, when Kinsey said there's going to be another Thanksgiving episode, she was like, "Oh, we already talked about food. What are we going to do?" And it, to me, it was an easy answer. Oh, drinks, because when you're with your buddies, it's all about that special drink. And I want to just set the stage a little bit. I've done a lot of Friendsgivings, and I like to bring a nice cocktail, and mine's eggnog. It's not that fancy. I mean, it is sort of fancy, but and I know it's more of a Christmassy type thing. But
you're kicking off that holiday season, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it is and it's boozy, and you fall asleep with it, and it's cozy feeling. So that's. I
feel like Christmas holiday drinks, they count too, because you're right. Thanksgiving is the kickoff of the Christmas season.
It is.
So I think they kind of roll into each other.
Yeah. So so this kind of a tradition for me, and I definitely think Ian's going to have a lot to say on this. So without further ado, Ian, what are some drinks? What's your drink life on Thanksgiving?
Okay. So I feel like Thanksgiving is the maybe the best day of the year to drink brown liquor.
Yes, good start. Good start.
No matter where you are, well, no, that's not true. But in most places, the chill is starting to. I mean, we think of Thanksgiving as mostly an American holiday. So anywhere you are, Canada has it on a different day, and every place else celebrates it differently. The chill is starting to come into the air. Brown liquor makes you feel all toasty, almost immediately.
Yeah.
It's the holidays. You bring out your good stuff, so you're not drinking bad stuff.
Absolutely.
If you've got an uncle that happened to be a little bit more flush than the rest of your family, that was the time that you drank all of his most expensive brown liquor.
Absolutely.
I agree that eggnog is also a good one, but we can't forget the timeliness of spiked cider.
Ooh,
There we go.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about.
Spiked-
Cider's the best.
Specifically spiked. What? Hold on. What is spiked cider?
It's just it's so I don't mean like I mean like actual apple cider. So growing up in Western New York, we had a couple of cider mills where you could like walk in and you could see the old machinery like carrying apples and pressing them and making cider. So you'd get like a big jug of that cider, and then you'd throw it in a crock pot with one of those mulling spice bags. You throw it in there and let it get hot and delicious smelling. And then you add your favorite, booze of choice. I always found brandy went really well on spiced cider.
Oh, yeah.
And whiskey goes really well. Bourbon. The sweetness of the bourbon really plays off the sweetness of the cider and gives you something that's just really warm and delicious.
Yeah, dude, bourbon and apple cider, like it doesn't get better than that.
It's so good.
It's
Shit.
super good.
That is a great idea for Thanksgiving. Holy shit. I've never had that.
It's good. Yeah, I think that's my like go-to like warm fuzzy like holiday boozy drink.
Right.
Even not boozy. Like when I've done it, I didn't actually put any booze in the crock pot. I let all that just be the cider and the mulling spices.
Right.
That way so everyone can have some.
Sure.
And it's even good without it.
You add the brown liquor after.
Yeah.
You want to keep it open. Cider should be enjoyed by
crock pot
everyone.
full of
You
bourbon.
don't want to immediately write out the kids.
Nah, fuck kids. No. Like,
And it's a
they need
good
to grow
like
up.
wind down drink. Like I'll stop putting liquor in it to like as it's getting later, sitting by the fire, drinking some cider.
Wind down by putting bourbon in it. I mean, wait, hold on. I don't get this logic here.
Some people wind down with booze. Some people get crazy.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. So that was one of your traditions.
Yeah, like definitely hot apple cider with the mulling spices. But I also, since I'm a big craft beer person, that's normally when I'll go to like a local brewery and find like a really nice special like darker beer.
Right.
And I usually try to bring something like that to Thanksgiving pretty much every year. And then I usually default to red wine at dinner, typically.
That is
Nice.
That's incorrect, but I accept it. No, everything you said, I'm all for. Like, definitely, like my family. That week we go to the bottle shop and get like 100 or so, whatever, nice beers, and then we like you said the loaded uncle brings that nice bottle. And you better believe I'm sipping right off the tap of that. Like, dude, it's better be the most expensive bourbon you can find. Like absolutely.
Yeah, like some local breweries, at least in Seattle, and I'm sure like other breweries do it as well, like around the world. Like in the wintertime is when I get like the Fremont Brewing Abominable. It's like the wax sealed
Fremont.
like it's like so fancy,
Nice.
so good. And like every year they have like a different flavor, and like it's kind of like wine. Like that beer is so fancy that they're like, this is the 2022 vintage.
Oh, right,
like they always date it and do the wax bottle shit, and like it's really good.
If you guys had to guess how much you would spend on booze for Thanksgiving,
I don't know if I want to think about it.
no, I mean, no,
Yeah.
I'm definitely like my parents aren't big drinkers, and when I visit, like I'm definitely buying $200 minimum. Like
Yeah.
there's just something.
I just want to say, Vonnie just came home and handed me some Fireball
Nice.
and a payday. So I'm doing good right now.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving has started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, as in payday, as in a candy bar, the payday? No, what?
That's my favorite candy bar.
Damn,
It's
that's
a good,
old school,
it's a
dude.
good candy bar.
That is. I didn't know that still existed. That's so cool.
Oh, yeah. Salty peanuts, caramel.
Oh hell
Yeah,
yeah.
it's wonderful. I pretend it's healthy because it's got a good kick of protein.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what would you guess you guys spend? Like, not necessarily in money, but like, do you guys go all in on drinks?
Yeah, I'm probably about the same as you, because a good trip to the bottle shop is always more than I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's always at least between at least in the US, between 80 and 150.
Right.
Like a solid trip to the bottle shop, because like expensive craft beer, or like good craft beer, I guess I should say, a lot of them, the bottles, you know, are between what, $10 and $25 each for like the big bomber size.
Right.
If you're getting a bomber, yeah. Absolutely.
Pardon my ignorance. Is a bomber a Magnum? Like how big is a bomber?
22.
22. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what are you dropping?
So I can kind of tell you because I've already done it. So
Yeah.
this year I just bought it. 75 this year.
Oh, okay.
I think is what I dropped. Not a ton. It's going to be a real small Thanksgiving this year. So, you know, I kept it reasonable, but I wanted to make sure I had stuff for old fashions and Manhattans. And then there's a local seltzer company called Ashland that just released like I guess you could say it's kind of holiday-ish. Maybe not. It's more dessert themed. They did a rainbow sherbet seltzer, lemon vanilla.
All right, there we go.
Strawberry shortcake.
What?
All right.
And creamsicle.
And creamsicle sounds pretty good.
What I need to point out about this seltzer company is, so seltzer started off as a mostly unsweetened thing. Like it's just supposed to taste like a LaCroix or a seltzer. And then companies like Bud came in and they were like, we've got these seltzers. Could you bring that over here for me? Thank you. I'm going to have to show that off in a second. Thanks so much. But these are like Budweiser started doing like the cherry cola seltzers, and they put all that fucking artificial sweetener and stuff in there.
Yeah.
These are still like unsweetened seltzers.
Oh,
So they're like desserty, but they're not like cloyingly sweet or anything like that. And they're all pretty good. And then the one thing I did buy, hold on.
I'm excited.
Here we go. All right. For listeners, we're waiting. Oh shit! What are we looking at? Christmas ale. This is a pony keg, or even smaller, a baby keg. What?
We were walking through Costco, and I walked by it, and Vonnie goes, "Christmas ale," and I turned and I saw it, and without thought, I was like, "All right, this is coming home with me."
Is that Belching Beaver? Who is that?
Breckenridge.
Oh, Brackenridge. I just saw bees, and I was like, maybe.
If it was Belching Beaver, that would have been great because I love their stuff.
Oh,
but,
so good.
Yeah, no, I found out that Belching Beaver is like beer snobs don't like them because they don't take beer seriously.
I mean, beer's supposed to be fun.
Right, exactly. I don't understand people who take it too seriously.
Taking beer seriously is that just sounds really stupid.
Right? Beer's fun.
Like you're supposed to be joyous and like cheering and fucking having a good time, but these little snob ass bitches out here like ruining it.
Of all the alcohols and boozes, like beer is the most equalizing. It's cheap.
Yeah.
It flows like water. It costs nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're not supposed to take it seriously. I love shitty beers and good beers alike. Like,
back to that question. You said shitty beers. What's the shitty beer of choice on Thanksgiving? Because that's also important. You need to down a bunch of shit beer. You have to.
Well, my family, it's always about the Rainier.
Right.
Which is, the Pacific Northwest, cheap lager.
That's the swag up there.
Yeah.
What's the swag down in what's the swag beer in Buffalo and the swag beer in San Diego?
So in Buffalo, the swag beer in Buffalo would be Genesee.
Oh, hell yeah! That is like that's super swag, dude. Okay, all right.
Jenny Cream Ale,
Stop.
Lovingly referred to as Jenny Screamers.
Stop. I totally forgot that existed. Oh my god! All right, keep it going.
Jenny Screamers. Down here, I don't know. Lots of really good Mexican beers cheap.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you want to pick something like that. I like Tecate. But there's all sorts of cheap ones. Sol is a really cheap one.
Sol's
SOL. And Sol is cheap, but it's tasty as hell. So, that's a good one. I also really like Stone's Buena Vesa, which is their Mexican lager. And that one's actually pretty cheap too. They don't charge like craft beer prices for it. And then I just want to say, because you mentioned Rainier, I really like Ollie's. I like Olympia.
Olympia's good.
Yeah, I if I was up in the northwest, I'd probably take Ollie if I could find it.
Yeah, there's a few like really divey bars in Seattle that have it on tap, and every time I see like the like Oli handle, I'm always just like, oh, yes, it's gonna be a good night.
Okay.
I was only in Seattle once. It was for a concert, and the bar I went to before the concert had Ollie on tap, and I was like, this is fantastic.
Yeah, isn't Olympia the one that's like has all the like really old like light up signs from like the 70s and 80s? That's like, from the land of crystal blue waters, it's Olympia.
Yes,
that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, It's good shit.
And you can taste the crystal blue waters.
You can taste it.
And I think that's a great segue for me to say Miller High Life is the correct answer.
That's a good one.
High Life for low lifes. You can taste the freedom. All right, that's the
yes. High Life is a good one. Pabst is another good one.
Absolutely.
Hams.
Oh, hams.
I think I might actually be drinking some hams tomorrow, because one of the only people coming over is our friend Lincoln, and he generally defaults to hams when it comes time to bring shit beer over. So
hams is a good
always
choice.
a good one.
All right. This sounds like we all like nice fancy shit, but we also like to have swag crap beer, because realistically, somebody's going to be in the tub at the end of the night shotgunning bears. All right.
Nelson says Thanksgiving like a good shotgun.
I mean, I feel like somebody's going to get a little sloppy on Thanksgiving. I think it's kind of the rule.
It's that same uncle.
Me? It's usually me. I don't know. Like, oh God, I love Thanksgiving. You mentioned
one of the first Thanksgivings I went to at my uncle's house.
Yeah.
When they were like, "Hey, do you want booze?" I forgot my aunt's name.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
She was a new aunt. She was like, my uncle had, divorced his wife, and there was a new gal in town.
Right.
But I'd known her for about 2 years, and she was awesome. It wasn't even like I felt bad about it. But I went and hugged her goodbye, and I was like, "Have a good night." And then there was a pause, and she goes, "Cheryl," and I'm like, "Cheryl."
Big ups to Cheryl real quick, dude. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, it's tough to know the sequel's name, you know? Like, we don't always...
The sequel?
Well, I like this topic. I think this was pretty good. Is there any more elements that we need to discuss?
And speaking of sequels, coming up next is going to be our brand new segment that's been around a few episodes. But join Dan Gorman for Play This Shit.
Hello, it's me, Dan Gorman, one of your trusty Chew High Labs mods, back again with another episode of Play This Shit. Today I want to talk about one of my most played games on Nintendo Switch, and that's Grindstone from Cappy, the creators of Super Brothers, and one of my favorites, Might and Magic Clash of Heroes. Grindstone does one of my absolute favorite things, and that's take an established mechanic, like a puzzle game, color linking in this case, and expands upon it with flourishes from other genres like the loot-grabbing, monster-slaying, blueprint discovering, and item crafting of dungeon crawlers. In the same way that I've been maddeningly addicted to games like Puzzle Quest or Round Guard, which does the similar kind of thing with Peggle, Grindstone is perfect for short bursts in between games as a palate cleanser kind of thing, or to cozy up on the couch with for hours and hours. I've put so many hours into this. It's still amazing, still fun. It's available on Nintendo Switch. You can also get it on iOS. I believe it was a part of the Apple Arcade originally. You can get it on PC. It's in Steam and Epic Store. You can also get it on your Mac. So there's no reason not to play Grindstone. If you haven't played it yet, now is the perfect time to start. It is so great. I absolutely love it, and I come back to it again and again on my Switch. So Grindstone from Cappy, it rules. Play that shit. And that's all for me today. And as always, play good games.
And now it's time for the news! And first of all, we have a news follow-up.
Update.
Because last episode maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, last episode we talked about the Pokemon Onigiri at 7-Eleven, and the Nasty Labs co-host Mark Lentz has tried them.
Yes. Well, I've tried one.
You tried one.
I tried one. So for Ian, there's 3 flavors of onigiri that 7-Eleven is doing that in conjunction with Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Okay, are they like the starters or what?
They're modeled after the Pokeball, Great Ball, and Ultra Ball.
Ooh, okay.
yeah. So they have nothing to do with balls.
I mean, they're onigiri, which is like a rice ball.
Yeah.
Ta-da! That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it. What were the flavors? Do you remember?
There was one that was like omelet flavor, so it's supposed to be like omurice flavor.
Oh yeah, it was
And that's,
omelet.
like, the Great Ball.
with ketchup and with right
Oh yeah, the ketchup omelet
ketchup
thing.
and mushroom and something else that sounded super gross.
Yeah, and then there's like a sausage one,
there-
chicken sausage one.
And then there was the one I got. I got the Ultra Ball, and
Mm-hmm.
that was ramen style boiled egg
Mm-hmm.
and nori and mayo and
It was like basically like a ramen style one.
it was really
like ramen
good.
flavored.
I mean, not really good. It was onigiri. And-
According to the internet,
Yeah.
which is the best place to get all your
Yeah.
information,
Yes.
the Ultra Ball is the best one.
and last week we said or we guessed that would be the best one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was the only one in the store. And it
They were all sold out, so
Yeah, yeah.
that's the only one we could try.
but at the end of the day, this is for Ian. Ian, it was pretty good. And when you come to visit, we will get you lots of onigiri.
Yeah.
Okay, that's-
I want to eat a lot of convenience store food.
Yeah.
it is fun. It's the
Bonnie,
only.
I think more than anyone is like very. I feel like she's already like started to like, pick an allegiance without having any. I think she's Family Mart without even having tried any of them. So,
Makes sense.
I mean, I think I'm Team Family Mart.
I
With
Yeah.
a few concessions where Lawson and 7-Eleven are better, but for the most part, I'm Team Family Ma.
it's the color. It's the colors, dude. The colors look so old and fun. Uh
You
oh.
get those Family Mart socks?
Yeah. Now they have socks. Yes. Oh.
Sorry, Vonnie likes Family Mart because she gets a lot of Poke Stops. She gets a lot of gifts from Family Mart and Pokemon Go.
Oh.
So that's her reasoning
I
behind
mean,
it.
that's a good reason.
Whatever. She'll love it. When are you guys coming over? Let me just start there.
I mean,
Okay.
as soon as we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, bye. Gotta go back.
Yeah. So it was pretty good. I won't try the other ones, Kinsey. I'm sorry.
Well, they've also been like sold out.
I know,
everywhere.
but like I tried the one I wanted, the Ultra Ball, and I don't need any more.
And speaking of 7-Eleven, our first news story is all about Pokemon and 7-Eleven. And because they are at it again to celebrate the launch of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, 7-Eleven's in Japan's new Ichiban Kuji, or prize lottery, started on November 18th. For 680 yen a ticket, you can buy... Wait. You buy a ticket,
Right.
and then you win one of whatever prizes ranked from H to the rarest, which is A.
Right.
And you can find them not only at 7-Eleven stores, but also Pokemon centers and Ito Yokado stores throughout Japan. But mostly going to find them at 7-Eleven because that's the most prevalent. But
Okay, but hold on. I think I need to lay some groundwork here because you said a lot of factoids. I think we
did.
need to bring it down a bit before you get to the part your big news.
Really excited.
Your hubbub here. Okay, so in Japan, all the convenience stores, not all of them, maybe all of them, they have a lottery system. And you go and you buy a ticket, and you could win a prize. It is absolutely gambling.
But I mean, at least you always win.
100%.
You always win a prize.
Yeah, but you're about to drop $7 for a piece of shit plastic folder. All right, all right. Always win something. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a 10-cent piece of shit. But whatever, you're right. You can always win. But it is definitely degenerate style gambling.
But the top prizes are worth way more than 680 yen.
It equals out.
Hence what makes it gambling, because people just sell that shit off.
Yeah. Absolutely. And previous ones have been like Final Fantasy characters, They've-
Dragon Ball.
anything you could think
Yeah.
of that's like big pop culture in Japan. It has been part of this of this ticket system. The other day we walked in. I'm going to let you say the big part, okay? But I do have to set this up. We walk in and she sees that it's Pokemon and she says, "I'm going to buy 4 tickets." Okay, so this is 680 times 4. You know, like not an inexpensive amount of. That's like $25. Mm-hmm. What happened, Kinsey?
I got. Let's see. I didn't get any of the bottom prizes. I got no H's.
Okay,
which is a first. It's a first.
Impressive
for me.
It actually is. It actually is impressive because you almost always get the shittiest thing.
I always get the hand towel washcloth thing, like every time. I have so many. Like when I first got one, I was like, "Oh, this is useful. It's a washcloth, or I can like put it in my purse to dry my hands, you know, and shit." But after you only need so many of those, and I have a lot now. So I got two of the same, one higher. So I got
start with the lowest prize.
Okay.
What was it?
I got 2 like plastic rice bowls and a cup, like a small juice glass.
Okay, so let's start with the plastic rice bowls. They were shaped like a Pokeball, right?
They were just like little rice balls, and they had rice bowls that they were all themed. Like the green one was only had grass Pokemon on the side.
These were.
I just want to say that yes, all bowls are Pokeball shaped.
Yeah,
in the fact that all bowls are round.
All right, la-di-da.
But I also pulled a C rank.
Okay,
which is pretty good. And I got like a big stuffed Eevee that was pretty decent size. Like it's probably like a $40 plushie.
To
and
some
it was
people.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
yeah. Thank you.
The part I don't think I told you is that the next day I went to 7-Eleven and I was like, so rank A is like a flat Pokeball pillow. So it's like a floor pillow, but it's a Pokeball.
Ooh.
And it also has all 3 of the new starters on it. And I want it so bad because it's going to be a kitty bed for my cat and it's great and I want it. So I bought,
that makes sense.
Yeah, I bought 3 more tickets when I went yesterday. This time, I got 2 H's. So I got 2 hand towels. But I got a B. I got a rank B.
Rank B.
Oh.
It's like the highest rank I've ever gotten, and I've played a lot of these stupid lotteries.
Yep.
I got a B, which is like this big, it's a slightly bigger Pikachu plushie, but it has like a cup. It's holding like a cup. And I have no idea why it's holding a cup. Because it's like a hard plastic cup that you could like put stuff in. Like a pencil holder. It looks just like a pencil holder cup.
Okay.
But it's being held by a giant plushy Pikachu. And I'm like, what is that for? I have no idea.
Can you put other cups? Can you put the other cup inside of that cup?
Yeah. But it's kind of deep. It's like taller than the juice cup that I got, so like it would be like stuck inside.
Could you pour apple cider into the cup and then drink it from the
it's like felt lined, like a Yahtzee cup, like a quiet dice cup.
Okay.
It's like that. So
Never
you can't really
mind.
put liquid in it. I just put another small plushie in it and put it on my shelf. But like, I'm so close. Okay, I got a C, I got a B. I gotta get the A, right? I gotta.
Let's talk about money here. So right now you've invested. I'm gonna use that word here. You've invested.
Invested.
About $40. About right.
Yeah, that's 7 tickets so far.
7 tickets. 7. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Good. So, where are we gonna end? Where does this? Are you going to spend until you get it?
Probably not till I get it, because I'm not a big gambler, but I do want it. So I'll probably try one more time if I go in and it's still available.
Okay.
Because there's
Pokemon
only like
changes
one.
everything.
It
Yeah.
does seem to for you guys. Like suddenly, I've never gambled before in my life. Suddenly, you're like, I'm all in, baby.
I gotta get that Pokeball pillow. I gotta. Meryl is depending on me. She needs a new bed.
She does.
She does. She needs it.
Yeah.
And
Good.
speaking of needing something,
Okay, good.
that's a horrible segue for this, but the Playdate Community Awards will be held on December 8th via Twitch from friend of the show,
Yay.
Tiny Yellow Machine. There will be 18 awards or 8? Did I miswrite that? That's a lot of awards. There'll be maybe
35 awards.
18 awards, game reveals, special guests, and more. The nominees were announced on November 17th, and among those was our game, Whitewater Wipeout.
Surprise.
It was nominated for Best Arcade Game, so a huge thank you to everyone who voted for our little surfing game.
Yeah. Ian, are you aware of this at all, the Community Awards?
No, but I am now, and I will definitely tune
Nice.
in.
Hell yeah.
Because I really enjoyed the play date.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, he announced all of the nominees over on the Tiny Yellow Machine Twitter, so definitely check that out, because there's like Best Arcade Game, Best Action Game, like Best App, Best Simulator, like there's a whole bunch of awards, so pretty excited
So it
about
covers everything that's out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
So this homie Tiny Yellow Machine has been doing like interviews with all the devs for the season 1 releases, and he's been so he's an LA guy. He's like in the films in the film industry, and he's been going basically all out.
Yeah,
All
his
of these
videos are so good.
All these
Nice.
live stream videos are I mean, they're as good as a one person could make it.
Yeah,
They're very pro level.
he just streamed a listening party and unboxing for the Whitewater Wipeout cassette,
Nice.
and they listened.
That's awesome.
Listened to the
That's
whole
so
thing. It
cool.
was awesome.
Yeah, the effort that's going into this is pretty staggering, and I mean that in the best way, because all of us devs have put a lot of effort into this device, and a lot of people like you, like consumers, are putting a lot of like emotional effort in believing in this thing, and it's just,
it's awesome.
yeah, and there's something. This is kind of uncanny, unheard of.
Yeah.
There's no other device that people are like rooting for this hard.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of the other stuff that, like, I realize this is Panic, but it reminds me a lot of other like teenage engineering stuff, because they had some hand in designing it. You get a really hardcore, small group of fans that will do anything for those machines, and they're great. Yeah, I love the play date. I was actually following Tiny Yellow Machine, and then when I had to make a new Twitter account, I did not follow them, so I'm literally doing that right now.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know what it is. I know this isn't part of news. I'm just gonna this is just conjecture. But like, what has made like how do things have such strong natural followings? Like, why did we all choose Playdate?
Because it's cool.
Yeah, I know.
Because it sounded like a fun idea, and
Yeah.
they clearly defined their intent and purpose with the machine, and it wasn't bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They how do I say this diplomatically? There are people out there who try to make something, and when people don't like it and it's a bad idea, they're like, it's not for everyone. The Playdate is very clearly a well thought out, targeted, like an executed perfectly idea for an old school black and white handheld system with a little bit of novelty with the crank. It's open source. People get into it, and this is an example of something that may not be for everyone, but there is a large group of people for whom this is going to be their favorite thing.
Yeah.
It appeals to enough people. You don't have to appeal to everyone. You have to appeal to enough people, market it properly to enough people, and then put out enough for those people to get it, and just support the community. And they've done a really good job of that.
Yeah.
They really have. It makes me think about some of the choices they made that I initially thought were maybe not the wisest. For example, not backlit, or for example, not grayscale, just monochrome.
Yeah.
But now that the device has been out for almost a year, like it's like a great choice.
Yeah.
You know, like it was a hard choice, hard as in not difficult, but like hard as in like it's a rule. It is not
this.
backlit.
Yeah.
You know, that makes it so like detractors, they'll say, well, it's not backlit, but you can't detract it. You can't say it's poorly lit. You can't say it's this. It's like, well, it's not. It's just not backlit.
Right.
So my thing was, before I got mine, I didn't get mine right away. I got mine like 3 or 4 weeks after people started getting them. I was in the first group. And I remember when people started getting them, there were videos that were like, oh, I'm really upset that it's not backlit. And I was like, well, I knew that was going to be an issue, and I was kind of nervous about it too. And now I'm really nervous about it because there's people that are making like a big deal about it. And I got it, and you look at how beautiful that screen is, and I'm really not trying to make excuses for them. that was an artistic choice. You cannot get what you get on the Playdate screen if it's backlit.
Right.
Yeah.
You cannot backlit light that screen and still get that crazy contrast.
Yep.
And get that like glimmering silver with the black on top. I've described it to some friends. It looks like you're looking at like the nicest Tiger. It has like this LCD handheld look to it, but it's far more high def. And it's just it's part of using that very unique screen.
Yeah.
If you backlit it at this point, I think you would take away some of the charm.
I honestly think that like maybe that was like the first choice they made, and it was like should we backlight it or not? And if you say yes, then the next question is, well, should it be color? And if you say yes to that, then the next question should be like, should it be widescreen? And but if you say no from the very beginning, like, well, it's an old school video game device, and
you lose your uniqueness the more times you say yes. And
definitely,
it's not unplayable. I think people really blew the visibility out of the water, because I take mine to the pinball bars all the time and I play it in between games at tournaments and stuff. And bars are not known for their ambient lighting.
Right.
And I can see it just fine.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a
it's
really
not a problem.
nice screen. Like, I do think it was kind of blown out of proportion. People are like, well, it's not backlit, so you can't see it. Like, no, you can see it great. Like, it's a great screen.
Absolutely. Well, all that to say, I really like the fan community stuff that's all building around this, and I think that the people at Tiny Yellow Machine and whatnot making this Playdate Community Awards, they're right to do this. It's like, this is exciting, and there's something really special that Panic has fostered, and I think they've been hands off for the most part. I think the fans have done this very grassroots and on their own.
They created something that was naturally going to attract a good community.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. December 8th, 18 awards. We're going to be doing some guest nominations as well, aren't we?
We'll be there.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Now it's time for Call Me Up, where we answer your questions from Discord. If you ever want to ask us a question, hop on over to the Chew High Labs Discord. Go on down to the Call Me Up channel and ask your question there.
And feel free to slide in Kinsey's DMs.
Those questions are not guaranteed to be answered. So first up is a question from one of our awesome mods, Dan Gorman. You heard from him earlier in this show. And his question is, what's a game that you are ride or die for, that you feel like you will always hold a torch for? For me, it's always going to be SSX3 because it's a masterpiece.
Oh my God, it's so fucking good. He's right. I'm sorry. That game is brilliant.
Right?
It's amazing. Okay.
I was like, is that now your answer?
No, but like it's a really good answer, Dan. That is an amazing game. It's like cream of the crop.
All right. Well,
Sorry.
shit. Okay.
I mean, it is really good.
I don't know. Well, okay. I didn't know we were gonna go so high energy there. I was just gonna say.
I wasn't planning on it.
Okay, mine was going to be Goof Troop for the SNES. I'm pretty ride or die for that. Okay,
I need to play that.
Yeah.
I actually was just talking to my husband about it because you mentioned it to me the other day that it's a good game, like a good co-op game to play together. So we're gonna play it.
Good.
And I think mine is a surprise to absolutely nobody who has watched me on anything over the years. But my ride or die game will always be Final Fantasy IX.
Oh,
always.
Yeah, it's yours.
Yeah, it's
that's
like
my favorite Final Fantasy, hands down. It's
should
the best
be.
Final Fantasy.
It is the best Final Fantasy. Ugh, it's so good.
It's cute.
I'll go City Connection.
Oh shit!
I love City Connection. And I talk about City Connection all the time. I love that game.
All right, that's I'm for it. I'm for it.
And Dan's next question is most overrated and underrated Thanksgiving food.
Okay. Overrated is that what's that? That is green bean casserole. I'm sorry if anybody likes it, but
I mean, I like it.
GTFO, dude. That shit is like, dude, what's going on with that? Who invented that, man? That is like What? What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say, dude? No,
Green
no,
bean casserole's
motherfucker.
great.
No, motherfucker. No, he's about to say. He's about to say this is underrated.
I was
It's
gonna say that for underrated
Ah.
because when people do like polls on it, it's like 50-50. Some people hate it, some people love it. I love
green.
that shit.
I love green bean casserole.
I'm making
So
it
good.
tomorrow.
See, okay, hold on. I bet Ian's is really good. I mean, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. You know, I don't know, man. I'm from the South, and I feel like we got all these other good foods over here. We got cornbread up the ass. We got, we got like our shit's good as fuck, and then like some Northerners come along with this like platter of green bean casserole, and they're like trying to tell me that's food.
No,
like,
the most overrated Thanksgiving food is that like sweet potato one with the marshmallows on the top, because it is at every single Thanksgiving I've ever been to.
yeah,
And it's never gone by the end of it. Never. Like, why? It's just tradition that people keep bringing it, but it's not that good.
yeah, I want to
My
fight.
answer is turkey. Turkey.
This
Turkey is overrated.
This motherfucker says turkey. This motherfucker accepts it. It says the thing that everyone likes. Like this motherfucker's like, no, that's turkey.
I do ham. I do beef. I do all sorts of different things. I
motherfucker
do
says
pork
turkey.
loins. I don't do turkey. Turkey's overrated.
I will say, though,
My
that
favorite part about
turkey...
turkey is the leftovers.
Yes.
That's great. You get sandwiches for days, dude.
But I feel like
Yeah,
turkey, since it's like the main event at most Thanksgiving dinners, it's also, I think, the easiest to fuck up and have not be good. Like, I've had
Yes.
so many
Yeah,
dry
that's true.
turkeys
That's
at Thanksgivings that are just like not good that I cover in gravy. And then it's just like a vehicle for the gravy. It's like not even turkey anymore.
Okay.
That's where I'm coming from.
Okay.
It's usually the worst made part of any Thanksgiving meal. Like my mom can make a good turkey, and yeah, I enjoy it. But 9 times out of 10, that turkey's gonna be bullshit.
Okay. All right. I'm with you. I see what you're saying. You like there again. I'm from the South. We're good ass cooks down there. And when I go home,
You are.
when I go home, that's gonna be some good ass turkey. Now, if like we have turkey, if we have Thanksgiving at some bullshit ass relative's house, like okay, now I know what you're talking about. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Okay, overrated. Oh, no, underrated. We just did overrated. Underrated. I'm going to say ham. Because I love ham, but as far as meats go, they're usually like the main event. But if a place has ham and turkey, no one talks about the ham. Like the turkey's the star, even though it shouldn't be. Ham.
I already said mine in a way, like I don't know, like from the South we do cornbread, and that's and it's not sweet. That's for criminals. I was gonna say
My
something.
friend Chris would agree with you. He hates sweet cornbread.
This is we talked about this in the last episode too.
Yeah, we did.
yeah. But no, definitely, guys, you should have cornbread. You should.
Cornbread's great.
Well, you said
is.
cornbread ass. Oh man, it's so fucking good. All right, what's yours? What's yours then? Underrated.
No, like I said, my underrated was going to be green bean casserole.
God
So
damn
Yes!
God,
I think it's just I love it. It's so good.
I
I
love
was hoping
green
you
bean
changed your.
casserole.
I was hoping you changed your answer.
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right.
That's
All right.
it.
Next question. Moving
Next
on.
question is from our awesome mod, Steven. Actually, this kind of goes with overrated and underrated.
Yeah.
It's the same line of questioning. What's the nastiest thing you've ever been served on Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving 2001. That's right after September 11th.
It's very specific.
Well, there's a reason. I was living overseas in Spain. We weren't allowed to leave the military base, so there wasn't a lot of we were locked down for like months on this basically a prison. And I went to the Navy galley for Thanksgiving that year.
Oh, no.
Also, the year I met the Crown Prince of Spain, but unrelated. The worst thing I was served was everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Like what? I gotta like get slop from a fucking galley? Get out of here with that! No. It was pretty good. It's just there again. I'm used to kick ass
Yeah.
Thanksgivings. What's yours?
Probably like it's. I don't know if it's like the nastiest, but it's so disappointing going back to the turkey when you get a bad turkey. It's so disappointing.
Yeah.
You take a bite of the turkey and you're just like, it's not even fucking worth it. Like,
A dry turkey will ruin Thanksgiving.
yeah. So I'm going to say a dry turkey.
Yeah.
The 1 year, so we used to always go to my mom's side of the family for Thanksgiving when I was young. and there was one year we went to my dad's side of the family, and someone made stuffing.
Oh no.
And I'm sorry, dressing, because it wasn't in the bird. And they clearly had no idea how to cook anything. They did not saute down the onions or the celery before mixing it in with the bread and baking it. They also put way too much stock in. So what happened is the stuffing came out.
It's like crunchy soup.
And I'm like really like texture is a very specific thing for me, and a texture can completely throw me off of something. I can't imagine. I honestly, like, when I think of it, I still get kind of sick. That soggy bread mixed with these hard, uncooked vegetables, it was one of the most disgusting things I've ever eaten in my life. And my parents were not like overbearing parents, but like we had never done like the Thanksgiving on my dad's side of the family before. And I generally love stuffing, so I usually take a lot of it. And probably said as a kid, I love stuffing, and put a bunch of it on my plate. And my dad's like, you really got to try to eat some of that. I'm like, I can't. This is slop. It's so bad. Yeah, probably.
I love stuffing, but that sounds horrible. Oh my god, that'd be so disappointing. Especially after you load your
vegetables were like
up.
big chunks too. They weren't like diced up. It was just like,
no.
That would be very upsetting, because stuffing is like that's the one you always know is going to be pretty good. Like it's always going to be good. That would hurt my heart. Okay, what's the next question? Let's move on.
Next question is from Kyoto Rick. And what achievement, high score, or completion are you most proud of?
Okay.
Like I think means like a game achievement. Like a.
Do you have one ready in the barrel?
Yeah.
I can go.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna do one that I would have been most proud of if it would have worked.
Okay.
Okay. So Dragon Age Inquisition. I was going to 100% this game. I had one trophy left. One. And it was like the discover every region kind of trophy, like every place on the map. And I walked to the last one, and nothing popped up on my screen, like nothing like you discovered whatever. And I was like, why not? What? You know? And I walked around forever. I was like, why is this thing not popping? This is my last achievement. My last one. And I went on Reddit, and like apparently everyone had figured out where this location is just based on like walking around. Because if you walk out of the location, it'll like pop up, be like entering whatever region. But it doesn't do that. And people like figured out where the outline was based on like walking in and out. So they knew where this region was that the achievement wouldn't pop.
Okay. And you're proud of this?
Well, I would have been. And that, like,
okay.
That's the only time I've ever like actually tried to 100% a game. I was like, I'm doing it. I'm going to 100% it. I'm so excited. And then that happened.
And you are very...
I would have been so proud if I would have 100%ed Dragon Age Inquisition.
I think you took that question in a totally new area.
It's the first thing I thought of. What's yours?
I was briefly on I was in the top 10 of Tetris DS for a while. I thought it would be competitive, and then the real competitive people hopped over, and nope, I am no good. It turns out. I've also been I've been number 1 on the daily leaderboards for Spelunky about 8 times now.
Nice.
I'm very proud of that, because that's hard as shit.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah,
as
that's
shit.
real hard.
These players are so fucking good. What's yours?
Man, Spelunky is so fucking good. Mine is in high school on a lot of acid. I made it to the last level of R-Type with 0 deaths.
What?
0 deaths. 0. But I did not beat the game. I immediately died 1 billion times in the last level, and that was that. But I still feel like that's a pretty good accomplishment, because R-Type's fucking insanely difficult.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one because I can chime in on that as well. I used to be able to get to the last stage on Metal Slug with 1 credit. Now,
Nice.
Yeah. Like for that same reason, because like I don't know, high school, it was weed for me. But yeah, same shit.
Sure.
I remember at an arcade, I was on the leaderboard on like the high score screen for Dig Dug for a long time. Granted, I owned a Dig Dug machine, so I like really tried to practice.
Oh, sure.
But
cool.
I'm like not good at high score games, and the fact that I was even on the list at like an arcade where anyone could play that machine, I was like, yes,
Hell
nailed
yeah.
it. And last question is also from Steven. Is Shakey's legit Thanksgiving food? Asking for a friend.
Okay, Shakey's. Ian, are you familiar with Shakey's? Have we talked about Shakey's pizza?
I'm vaguely familiar with it, but I'm gonna need you to fill me in.
Okay, so Shakey's is, I believe it's an Oklahoma-based pizza chain. I think there's only like 1 or 2 locations remaining in America, I believe. My mom worked there.
Okay, so we are talking about the pizza place.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
My mom worked there in the 70s, and she would always say it's the worst pizza. Shakey's is still popular in Japan and the Philippines.
It's wild.
Because these are not pizza nations, all right? Because you go to that,
Nation.
all right? You go there, and that, my friend, it's not pizza. It
Right.
is, I don't know what.
But
it
we're
is.
not worried about whether or not it's pizza.
I know.
We're worried about whether or not it's Thanksgiving food.
And I am gonna say, Shakey's is legit Thanksgiving food, and here's why: it's all you can eat for 90 minutes. It's all you can eat.
90 minutes. They put a time limit on. They're like,
They have a
go.
timer. Yeah. Every time you go up to get pizza, you have to bring your timer.
Amazing.
Yeah. So you have 90 minutes. Somebody is going to be staring at you, very uncomfortably, just like Thanksgiving. You know, your weird uncle. Okay. All of the it's like going to the relative that you haven't seen in a long time's house, and it turns out they can't cook. That's why Shakey's is legitimately a Thanksgiving food, and as much as I don't like Shakey's,
It's representative of the experience.
and,
Yeah.
And I think the reason he's asking is I have a Shakey's tattoo right here,
Nice.
very prominently,
Yeah.
because it's the worst pizza on the planet, and I have to tell them that. The end.
I'm going to give a wholesome answer.
Okay,
Thanksgiving, as much as we love the food, it's not about the food.
it's the food.
Here we go.
It's the food we met along the way. What are you gonna say over here?
If you are, with a family member or a friend and you go to Shakey's Pizza for Thanksgiving, that is a Thanksgiving dinner because you are spending it with a loved one.
I would
The
agree.
more you know.
But if you go by yourself, it's not a Thanksgiving.
yeah. Yeah, it's filthy, and like it's the only place in Japan where like the cooks, they definitely don't wash their hands. No way, dude. Like, and I gotta say to them, big ups, dude. I'm all for it.
And that's all the time we have for today's show. Huge thank you to Ian for coming back. Not just coming on, but coming back. Thank you.
Anytime.
Hell yeah.
And where can people find
see you next
on the
Thanksgiving.
internet?
You're goddamn right. You're goddamn right.
Annual show.
Yeah, where can people find you on the internet, Ian?
You can find me on Twitter at GrapeAidFade. You can find me doing the CU podcast at Pat the NES Punks channel. And you can find me doing the podcast that I feel very passionate about, Extra Napkins,
Hell
which
yeah.
is just me and my stoner friend, John, that I've known since I was 14, talking about food and whatever else. That's at eNapkins on Twitter. And Extra Napkins wherever fine podcasts are purveyed.
What's this week's episode about? Thanksgiving?
Well, so actually, Extra Napkins is currently on a hiatus because of some stuff that's been going on in my family.
Right.
But we'll be back in December, and we have like probably 170 episodes you can catch up on. So,
Hell
go
yeah.
check those out.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
All right, and as always, Carve Snowboarding is out right now on Oculus Quest. Halloween Forever is out right now on the Nintendo Switch. And you can get Curse to Golf right now on pretty much everything.
Hell yeah.
All three of them are fantastic.
Oh, yeah. You own all of them. But shit, yeah.
And you can
Yeah, I
find
know.
me...
I've enjoyed all of them legitimately.
Yeah.
And you can find me on the internet at Kinzilla, Kinzilla, on pretty much all the things, but mostly Twitter, and I guess Hive now. I'm on Hive.
And you
Me
can find,
too.
you can find me just on Twitter, and if Twitter goes down, you can't find me anymore, and it's going to be great. I'm going to hide. I'm out of here, dude. I cannot wait.
And you can find Chuhai Labs at Chuhai Labs on all the things. And as always, big thanks to the HyperX Podcast Network. And thank you all for listening. You are legally the best. We will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.